those numbers.
Will. All right. You convinced me. Okay. Let's proceed. Let's start with the budget you propose. Listing campaigns and see if they work or not. Because I have increased the LTV a little bit with the latest updates I made. So they might just be turning into profits directly. We don't even need to try different creatives maybe. So like, look, Will, I paid quite a lot of money for Evo in the past, and I'm restricting the budget more because in order to profit, if I keep giving you 3K plus the ads expense, then I have to spend like at least like 15K in order to profit because it's an extra added overhead on the top. Because it's going to be much more harder for me to profit if I just make like a $200 per day ad spend, which is going to be equaling $6,000 per month plus $3,000 to Evo. So I'm going to have to at least earn $9,000 and even more because Apple gets its cut as well. So am I going to be able to do that? I've got these budget constraints in my mind, and that I'm trying to figure that out because it's like taking lots of money. That's the problem. And we're gonna have to do something like a 1.6 times return on investment in order to profit. Otherwise, it's not gonna work, and it's not sure if you're gonna be able to do it because what I researched is that these other these apps that grow with meta ads, they're mostly on the 20, maybe 30% profit range, right? And like, seems like the app has to be earning much more in order for me to make these meta ads campaigns or paid ads campaigns profitable. And like paying you an extra 3K per month, if the ad spend is small, is like seems really expensive to me. That's the problem. That's the main issue. It's not about what you're getting, but it's about if you're gonna be able to profit on this or not. If it's gonna be harder to profit with this model, then it should be better for me to just try it on my own, at least with these small budgets, right?
For sure. So is it fair to say like what you're looking for is like certainty, like the right numbers that you can see, like the numbers to what you're looking for?
If I was trying to do this on my own, then if I just tried with a $200 per day budget, then I would just be spending $6,000 per month, right? But now with this overhead, I gotta spend and earn $9,000 per month in order to profit. So it's like I either gotta spend more, increase the ad budget, or I gotta reduce the commission or the creative production cost I have. Of course, I'm gonna be spending time creating the creatives myself as well, but maybe I don't really have to do it at the first stage because I already have a bunch of creatives. Maybe I can just test it like 10 creatives and just see that it's going well and like try to do the rest on my own. So like these are the things I have in mind. Like,
okay, for sure, man. And that's totally something that I can totally relate with because the reason I knew about Evo was they did my influencer marketing. And then I'm from like this is my own app that I had. I had an app that helps like guys regrow their hair. So I know exactly where you come from because even for me is when I had influencer marketing, I was like, well, I can probably just hire a VA to do all the outreach by myself, right? Like what's the point, right? But one couple of things that I saw was the numbers, right? So in this time start that you've been doing this, because you're a great DIYer, man. You've been running all the ads yourself on search ads, Google ads, and Meta. Like in this time that you've been running the ads, like what have you figured out?
Regarding running ads only or
just ads, like how close do you think you guys are to like being profitable, like where you want to be?
Like I think it's around like 0.6% range right now. So the app is earning like $1, let's say, and the ads are generating like $0.6. So it's only like 0.6 at 0.6 profitability.
So what do you think is preventing you from doubling that at least 1.2?
Like setting up attribution correctly so that I focus on the correct creatives and the keywords, at least on search ads, or maybe like doing the correct product pages or custom product pages so that I target the correct keywords with the correct pages. And um and like and yeah, that's the only thing I think. And maybe like trying to make the app generate more revenue in general, provide more value, increase the LTV. Those are the two things. So correct targeting, attribution, and increasing the overall LTV of the app. If the overall LTV of the app isn't there yet, or if the other competitors are doing more and they're spending more on ads, then I can't compete with them. So those are the things I think we should be focusing on.
Okay, so it sounds like, man, that you were unsure a little bit from what we talked about. You're a little bit unsure about how if the attribution tracking is set up, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and you're maybe unsure a little bit about the creatives, if those are correct. Right.
And in general, if the app's LTV is high enough to run ads yet, it's because I tried it in the past and it wasn't there yet, and I'm still not sure if maybe I should be focusing on developing and improving the app first before running paid ads.
Okay.
That's whatever ad campaign or whatever agency, or if I gotta try to do it on my own.
It's
the same thing.
100%. And it's also, you're also kind of unsure whether the numbers that you saw within Meta were correct or were moving in the right direction.
I'm sure they were correct. Yeah, they were, because I was working with a friend who was handling the management of ads, as you guys do. I didn't really do that on my own, so he told me that the numbers there are correct and everything works.
Yeah. Like the stuff was firing correctly on the SDK, but you're unsure if those numbers are good for Meta ads, right? Because I saw that you were comparing it with other ads and all those things.
Yeah.
Right. And so for you as a founder, we're always comparing because we're DIYers, like we're looking at, am I doing things correctly? Am my numbers correct? The way we do that, why are we unsure? It's more so lack of knowledge, right? Or we don't have something to compare to. Right, because if you did this 1,000 times, you'd have 2-3 other apps in this space. Well, you know exactly what buttons to press right now, right? If you ran ads before on Meta, you set up attribution tracking, you would know what buttons to press now, right? But as someone like myself and you, the only way for us to know is to find that gap in the knowledge, right? To find someone who, hey, they've set up attribution correctly. Hey, they run ad campaigns to know that these numbers within Meta make sense. And B, that they've ran enough creatives to where, hey, like this is going to make sense. And so I feel like for you, do you feel like that we understand how attribution tracking and done correctly, everything that we talked about? Do you feel like we're pretty confident and can get you those results?
Well, we'll see. I'm not sure yet. We gotta try. Like, you never know without trying. Sometimes I think something's gonna work within the things I try, and they don't work. Some things I think that's not gonna work, they work better than what I was expecting. So, like, we gotta experiment. That's why we experimented with UGC, with Evo initially as well. Like, you never know before you try. I just don't wanna spend lots of money just to learn if it's gonna work or not. That's the thing, because the app is generating revenue right now, but I'm still bootstrapped and I'm still self-funded, and I still wanna don't wanna spend for money for things that's not gonna work. That's the thing.
So you're more so, it sounds like you're more so, is it fair to say that you're more so concerned about like the fixed cost of that 3,000?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, because obviously there's more cost beyond that, right? Like you have.
If it was like, hey, 10% for the ad spend, it would be much more easier for me to say yes, because then I would be spending like, okay, let's do like a $200 per day ad spend, and like 10%, let's give the 10% to Evo. And if we increase the budget even more, then it's gonna be higher for Evo as well. So the fixed 3K is, I'm not sure about that one. I know many other agencies work with this type of model as well, and it makes sense for you. But I'm not in a hurry. I can just first try it on my own, and then ask you guys to make it on a bigger scale if I want to increase the budget even more. Right? That would be more profitable for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so what's more of a variable cost is like the amount that you'd have to spend on the ads, right? We're not entirely sure how much we would need to spend on the ads to get our desired result, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's where it's going to be variable, and we're a little bit uncertain, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess like being that's the case, and that's always going to be the case. Do you feel like if you're doing it yourself and you don't know kind of what numbers and benchmarks to hit, do you think you're going to spend more or less than what you need to?
What do you mean? Say it again.
Yeah. So, like, granted, where you're doing this yourself and you've been doing it for a while, which is great. As you're now spending the ads, do you feel like if we're unsure of the benchmarks and the numbers that we need to see to know that, hey, I'm walking on the right path, do you feel like you're going to spend more or less than you should?
What do you mean the benchmarks we wanna see? Like,
right. So when you're running the ads, right? When you're running the ads on Meta or Google or Apple search ads, whenever you're spending the money, you're wanting to make sure that you're getting the right numbers that show you like a green flag, right? That say, hey, like I'm getting purchases. But not only that is you're getting a purchase within a week. Because if you're not getting a purchase in a week, what's going to happen to me and you? I'm gonna panic a little bit. It's like, did I set it up correctly? Did I do this correctly? all those things are like, my downloads, my attribution tracking is correctly, and it's kind of what you're experiencing a little bit now, right? So that's what's going to happen, and that's inevitably what happens when we build a business the first time. When you launch an app and run the ads on Meta, Google, and Apple search ads, right? And that's inevitable that you're going to experience because we're doing it ourselves. And so when you get to that point and it's inevitable that we experience it, do you feel like we're going to spend more or spend less than we should to get to the points where, hey, you get the first purchase, you get all these events that you see?
You mean when I'm working on my own?
Yeah. When you're working on your own.
I'm probably going to be spending more because I'm not really sure about the technical side of things, about those campaigns and setting things up and like comparing with other campaigns like you guys with other apps and customers. So probably gonna have to spend more time and money there if I try to do it on my own.
Yeah. And that's okay, man. That's just natural, bro. I spent so much money on my own ads before I think things made sense for me. And that's totally natural. And so can you see how by now trying to do it by yourself again, that the variable cost could be way more? Is instead of $200, $300, you could be spending way more than $3,000 in 30 days. Right. And I guess, is that something that you would want to do again?
I just want to try maybe it's not the right path, but because I like doing things on my own, and I think the founders who keep obsessing about their product and trying to do, of course you can't really do everything on your own because you got so much time, and I'm not an expert in all these areas. I build the app, I do the product thing and everything, and I do all types of things that a business needs to grow, but I'm not an expert in marketing. So or at least paid marketing is not something I have spent lots of time on improving myself. So I'm probably gonna lose more money if I try to do it on my own, but you never know. Like, I want to try, and if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna try to bring in people who think are gonna be able to do it better than me. Because it's not only about the ads and meta ads or anything; it's also about the product itself. And you guys aren't really gonna think about the product as much as I do. Most of the ad agencies I've worked with in the past, and Evo is not the one I've worked first about this. I worked with like 3 or 4 different agencies in the past. They don't even look at the app, man. Like they just do it for the sake of doing it, and like for the monthly payment they're getting. They don't really try to learn about the product. They don't really try to like think about what kind of users are downloading this app, and think about the user flows and the user personas and everything. So like it's easier for agencies just to run ads and like get their money. So like I've got big expectations from agencies I work with, so that they care about the product and they want it to grow and form a longer term relationship. Everyone says the same thing, that this is what their mentality is. But maybe if Evo had performed better in terms of UGC, I would be more inclined to proceeding. But right now I'm actually hesitating because I got these kind of concerns here, and I would maybe try to do it on my own first before I call you guys and say that I gave up. So these are the things.
Yeah, for sure, man, and that's totally fine. Those are all things that I see as well. I'm
exactly.
a founder.
So just give me a couple of days and convince me that this is gonna be profitable if we work with you guys. Send me examples. Send me apps that do these different types of creatives and like getting these type of benchmarks. I don't know how you like find it on, if there's like a online data or on that or not, but just convince me that this is going to be profitable, and I'm not going to be really spending lots of money for nothing because the app isn't there yet. Maybe you're going to say that, hey, Sarp, you were right. The LTV isn't that high when compared to other competitors, and they're spending this much money there. And maybe you should be working on a couple months to increase your LTV.
Oh yeah, you can leave it at the door.
Paid ads like stronger, and it's gonna be profitable earlier. So I'm expecting that from you. I'm like, my head has to be clear to move forward, to spend at least $3,000 per month just to give you guys for like a small ad budget.
Okay, for sure. I guess, granted, in a couple months, like you will be in a better position with the way the app's progressing. I guess the SARP, 3-6 months from now, when you're doing, hopefully multi 6 figures, your app is doing 150, 200K. When the future's SARP beforehand, I guess in this position, looking back now, once you're making more money, what kind of decision would he make today? Would he want to? What are the things that he values? Right, time, and money, right? But more so, what's more valuable to you right now, time or money?
I guess time. Yeah.
Well, why though?
Well, I wanna because maybe other apps are growing faster, and I'm not growing fast enough, and because not doing the things I gotta do right now, is a worse thing than trying and spending and trying different things in a faster way. So money, I think time is more important.
Okay.
We gotta try to learn if paid ads is gonna work or not as soon as possible, or at least try to figure out a way to scale this up with some kind of like with the correct marketing channel we should do, right? I gotta
No, I know. I'm almost done. I got you.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess like and totally like you're a solo founder. When I thankfully I had a developer who was my co-founder on my app, and so like time is valuable because there's an opportunity cost in where you can go work on another app, right? And so if time's valuable, what's going to allow us to buy back that time so that you can scale faster? Well, money, right? And so what you need to spend. And so thinking about the SARP 3-6 months from now, where he's in a better position, what kind of decision would he make today?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. Yeah.
And
I
so
just
to get, to save time and be in a better position to get to the results that we want faster, what do we need to do today?
we gotta try as soon as possible and spend some money to see if it's gonna work or not.
Yeah. And so what does that look like in our conversation here?
You're trying to convince me to work with you guys directly. I don't know, Will.
I mean, you don't have to, man. Like, you can always look for another agency, but you talk to me, you talk to Dawson. I looked at your numbers. I've been trying to get on a meeting with you. Like, I think the app's really cool. When I looked at the app, I honestly, when I saw the ads on Meta, I saw the videos. I was like, I was taken a little back because I thought it was really funny. But I'm like, I genuinely feel like there's something here. Sometimes I look at an app and I tell Dawson, I'm like, bro, like I don't even want to run an ad campaign on this. Like sometimes I see an app, man, and I tell Dawson like it's not even worth it.
Do you think with the smallest budget we're gonna have, like $200 per day, plus paying you $3K. Let's say it's gonna cost me like $10K per month.
Yeah.
Right. I'm already spending for search ads, and for this type of expense I'm gonna be making. Are we gonna be able to profit after a month?
Within the first 10 days, we're going to get our benchmark numbers. So the first 10 days, we're going to have, even before we press play on the ads, me and you are going to look at the attribution set up correctly. You give me access to mix panel. Week by week, I'm going to see where people are dropping off on the onboarding, right? So when we start, we're not even going to press play on the ads until I make sure attribution's done correct. You give me access to mix panel. We make sure that the events we can optimize for annual and the highest LTV action, right? Then we press play. Then within the first week, first 7 to 10 days, we're going to know exactly what those benchmark metrics look like. How much does it take to get an LTV user? Then what's going to happen for us to continue to lower it is introduce new creatives per week to bring that number down. But while we're bringing that number down on the cost per install is I need to have higher conversion into paid. And so I'm looking at first on the front end, on the top of it, I'm looking at the cost per install to determine if it's good creative. To determine if we have a successful campaign is your cost per install, the cost per purchase, cost per result to get your 150, right? And so we want to decrease that more and more during the 30 days. I have no doubt that within the first 10 days we can get those benchmarks, and then the next 20 days in the first month we're going to move closer to say, hey, like I'm on track to even coming close to that number, to where, hey, if we aren't coming close to that in 30 days, like I'm not going to come to you, SARP, and be like, hey, let's keep taking your money for no reason, right? I want you to have full confidence in the numbers that we'll help you get, because that's what gives you confidence in general, is those numbers.
Will, all right. You convinced me, okay? Let's proceed. Let's start with the budget you propose. But after a month, if I feel like it's not gonna work, and if I feel like I could do it on my own, then I'm not gonna proceed, because I maybe spent like 150K so far for ads and agencies and like growth experts and everything, and like none of that has worked so far. Yeah. And there could be another problem then. I'm not saying that these agencies I work with or you guys are like are not able to make this work, but there could be another problem. Maybe the app isn't able to generate those downloads into revenue yet. So if
Yeah.
if someone tells me that and tells me that, hey, Sab, you gotta first fix this before starting UGC or paid ads, that would like make me super happy. And every agency, every growth expert just keeps saying that, let's start and see if it's gonna work or not. So, and it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there's some other problem. So that's like, these are the problems and these are the foes I'm having. I don't have any other ideas. Let's try. Okay, let's do a contract, 1 month contract. I'm not gonna extend it more than it should be at this stage. You guys do the campaigns and everything. Let's set up meta ads, and let's see if it's gonna work or not. But just for a month. Otherwise, I'm gonna try to do this on my own.
For sure, man. No, and I'm glad we're able to work with you. I'm excited. So next steps, I'll send over the next steps. I have like a recorded tutorial. You already know the SDK, so you already know what to do. So I'll have the team send over the contract and the next steps, and then we'll talk more in the Slack channel then.
And also send me again
The creatives that you wanted, research.
Just send me what we're gonna do.
For sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, take care, man. Have a good rest of your day, brother.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Of course. Bye-bye.